one, you're taking the cylinder and you are slicing it parallel to the base. Parallel to the base means horizontally, so it will be the same as the base, which will be a circle. If it instead said perpendicular to the base, that would be a vertical cross section, and that would then be a rectangle. In number 2, we have a rectangle with dimensions 4 feet. Oh wait, I should put that on the other side. 4 feet by 7 feet. It's continuously rotated around one of its 4-foot sides. So here is the 4-foot side, so that's what it's spinning around. So we know that a rectangle is going to become cylindrical, and it's going to like appear on the side as well. And it's going to start looking cylindrical over here. The part that is like the flat surface is going to start looking more curved, and we're going to end up with a cylindrical shape over here. So it looks like we're going to have a cylinder with a height of 4 feet and a radius of 7. So let's find that one, a height of 4 feet and a radius of 7. Be careful about that. Okay, checking out number 3. So we have a rectangular prism on the bottom and a half cylinder on the top. So just pay attention to what the different shapes are so you are using the right volume formulas. Okay, I see feet, 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 and feet. Cubic feet. I always like to just make sure that my units are the same. I just go through, I just look at all the units and I just see if any conversions are going to be necessary. So I'm going to start with the bottom. So the volume of the bottom, it is a rectangular prism. So that's going to be capital B times H. Here it is a rectangular prism. So the area of a rectangle is length times width. So it is length times width times the height of the entire prism. So here I have 45, and this is all feet, so I don't have to be concerned about units here. 12 and 20. Once again, it's all in feet, so I don't need to be concerned about units. Let me grab my calculator, 1 second. And I'm going to do 45 times 20 times 12, and I got 10,800. And I'm going to write cubic feet because I always like to do that, even though here we're not going to be converting anything. And then I'm going to do the volume of the top. So the top is a half cylinder. So cylinder is pi r squared times height because it's capital B times H. I should write it like that actually to be consistent with what you're going to see on the test, capital B times H. And a cylinder has a circle base. So the area of a circle is pi r squared times the height of the entire cylinder. And remember, it's a half cylinder, so we do need to put a 1/2 in the front, or you could just divide your answer by 2 when you get it. And remember, Ms. Sholey talked about a really nice way of remembering the area of a circle formula because it's not provided to you on the Regents exam or the test. Circumference is cherry, pies are delicious, apple, pies are 2. So it's a 2-in-1 to help you remember both, and here you needed the area formula. So when we plug in, we have 1/2 pi, and now I need to put in the radius of the half cylinder here. They tell us that it has a diameter of 20 feet, so I'm going to sub in 10 because diameter over 2 is the radius. And then the height of the half cylinder is 45, so be really, really careful with that. If you imagine the cylinder, the half cylinder, but the cylinder standing up tall, that would be equivalent to this over here, so just be careful. This is the height of the rectangular prism part, but this is the height of the half cylinder part, so be careful with that. Okay, I'm going to go into my calculator and type this in. Okay, so I have 0.5 pi 10 squared times the height, and the height is 45. Getting this all into my calculator over here. And that is approximately 7,068. And then I have to add the one for the rectangular prism, which is 10,800. So I'm going to add 10,800. Oh, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Okay, so I'm gonna retype this. I hate these online calculators sometimes. And then we get about 17,868, and it rounds up to 869. So that's this one right over here. Moving along, a square pyramid is intersected by a plane passing through the vertex and perpendicular to the base. So the vertex is here, or the apex, and perpendicular to the base. So the base is here, so forming a right angle with the base would be vertical. So we're talking about a vertical cross section here. So a vertical cross section would be a triangle. If it was instead horizontal, it would be a square just like the base. This one over here is very tricky. A right circular cylinder has a diameter of 8 inches and a height of 12 inches. Which two-dimensional figure shows a cross section that is perpendicular to the base? So if it's perpendicular to the base, I already know it's 304, and passes through the center of the base. So let's take each one into consideration here. So passes through the center of the base. For this, I feel like the best way to see what the answer is to see a visualization of it, because I can definitely see why people would think it would be 4. So over here, I have just a GeoGebra link to a vertical cross section of a cylinder. And if you take a look over here, since the cross section is slicing it through, the cross section is actually the diameter. So that is why it is 8 and not 4. We're not talking about like rotating it to become a cylinder. We're talking about slicing it and getting the cross section. So that's the misconception there for that one. For number 6, we need to find the volume of a cone. Okay, a third of the cylinder formula. And we're told the height, and we are told the radius, and centimeters, centimeters, centimeters. So everything's centimeters, so no conversions, luckily. And it does say the round, so I'm going to put this into my calculator. Let me clear this out. So that is 1/3 pi. (2.5 squared) times 7.2. And that's about 47. As shown in the diagram below, right triangle ABC has side lanes 8 and 15. If we're continuously rotating around AC, what will the figure be? So it's going to be a cone. So goodbye, answer choices 3 and 4. And it's going to have a height of 8, and it's going to have a radius of 15. That's answer choice number 1. We have a sandbox in the shape of a rectangular prism. Inches, inches, inches. Volume is in feet. So volume's in feet. So conversion is going to be needed here. So I'm going to just convert to from inches to feet before we get started by dividing by 12. So volume equals capital B times H. So volume equals to length times width times height. 43 over 12. 30 over 12. 9 over 12. And this is now converted to feet. So when I multiply them all together, this will be in cubic feet. So I'm going to do that right now. If you already found the volume in cubic inches, then you would just have to divide by 12 cubed. I just prefer to do this way. And this is in cubic feet already. So it's about 6.71875. And it says, what is the minimum number of sand that must be purchased to fill the sandbox? Each bag of sand has a volume of 0.5 a cubic foot. So if I divide my answer by 0.5, that's about, the minimum number. So it can't be 13 because that won't fill it. So it's got to be 14. 14 will fill it. In number 9, we have a cylinder with a specific volume. So I'm going to write down my formula. Centimeters cubed, centimeters, centimeters, no conversions here. The volume is 1,180. We are solving for the radius because that will give us the diameter. And the height is 10. If I divide both sides by 10, I have this. If I divide both sides by pi, I have this. And then if I take the square root of both sides, I have this. And it does say the round, so I'm going to type that into the calculator. About 6.1. A small town is installing a water storage tank in the shape of a cylinder. The tank must be able to hold at least 100,000 gallons of water. The tank must have a height of exactly 30 feet. And they give us the conversion from cubic feet to gallons. What should the minimum diameter be to the nearest foot? So it has to hold 100,000 gallons. So let me get this to feet because my measurements for volume are in feet. So to go from gallons to feet, let's see. So I want gallons to be in the denominator to cancel out, and cubic feet to be in the numerator. There's 7.48 gallons in 1 cubic foot. So that way this will cancel out and we'll be left with cubic feet. So that's telling me I need to divide. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to divide 100,000 by 7.48. And then I got 13,368 point 983. Okay. Oh, wow. I just realized I messed up this last one over here. I found the radius. I didn't double it. I fell for the trick there. Okay. because I was just rereading this one and I saw that it's diameter, so I realized I messed that one up. Okay. Okay, let me fix this. So that's the volume. This is the volume in cubic feet, the desired volume. We need to find the radius, and the height needs to be 30. So let me first divide by 30 pi. And if I divide by 30 pi, I'll have what r squared is, and then I could just take the square root of that. So let me divide by 30 pi. And then we're going to take the square root of that. And that's the radius. So I do have to double it to get the diameter about 23.8. So that's about 24.